Friends, the wait is about to be over because the most spine-chilling film in the world of horror, The Black Phone, is getting a sequel. Yes, you heard it right. That black phone will ring again. The voices of dead children will echo once more, and the story of Finney Blake will once again plunge you into new depths of fear and thrill. If you've seen the first part, then you know it wasn't just a horror movie. It was a psychological journey, a battle between fear and courage, innocence versus madness. And now the second and far scarier chapter of that story is coming your way. But friends, if you want more updates like this one filled with horror, thriller, and suspense, exclusive story scripts, and cinematic analysis, make sure to subscribe to the Cinema Update channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon, because here you'll get every movie's story, related theories, and all of it in pure cinematic style. The story begins exactly where the first part ended. Finney Blake is now in high school. The innocence that once defined his face before falling into Grabber's trap is now gone. The boy who survived with the help of the spirits of dead children has now become a quiet, serious, and broken person. He tries to appear normal from the outside, but something inside him still lingers, something incomplete, something half dead, and maybe something waiting to awaken again. His sister Gwen is now more confident than ever. Her dreams have become deeper and clearer. But this power has now become a burden rather than a gift. Every night she sees visions, a new mask, a new basement, and children screaming. But the Grabber is dead. So who is this? Children are disappearing again in the city, but this time the pattern is different. No balloons, no masked kidnapper, just kids vanishing on their way back from school. The police are helpless. The media no longer pays attention because everyone believes the Grabber's chapter is over. But Gwen knows the real threat is far from over. One night, Gwen has a dream. A large church. Broken windows, black curtains, and the silence of the bell tower. A small boy is crying there, and at that moment, a strange sound echoes. The muffled ring of a telephone. That phone is still working, but this time it's not the Grabber's soul speaking. It's something else. Finney goes back to his old basement, the very place where he was once held captive. The room's walls are still the same. Rotting, damp, and in the corner, that same black phone. He picks it up with trembling hands, but this time the voice on the other side is very different. You're back again. But time has changed. It's the voice of Griffin, one of the kids who had died earlier. But now, instead of fear, there's a warning in his voice. He's returned, but this time he doesn't just play with our souls. He turns us against each other. Finney doesn't understand. He goes to Gwen, and together they dig through old newspapers, case files, and maps. In Gwen's dream diary, one name keeps appearing. The Listener. They soon discover that the Listener is not just a new kidnapper. He has upgraded the methods of the Grabber. He doesn't just imprison children. He locks their souls into the phone so they can neither live in the world nor find peace after death. Finney's new friend Caleb suddenly goes missing, and that's when everything begins again. Gwen's dreams are now filled with Caleb's voice. She hears, "Please help me, it's so dark here." But this English no longer scares her. She knows it's the voice of that black phone. Finney returns to the old room again and picks up the phone. It rings 3 times. The first time, Griffin speaks. He draws power from our fear. The second time, Bruce says, "You are not alone." And the third time, an unknown girl says, "I was the first one he took. His name isn't John. He was once a doctor. He steals people's memories." This name had never appeared in Gwen's diary before. Dr. Malcolm Kane, a former psychiatrist who used to conduct illegal mental experiments on children. He was once expelled from a hospital and had vanished ever since. Now the Listener is him, a scientist who isn't just torturing souls but trying to control them. Gwen and Finney set out to find the church. In an old file, they find a church, one that was converted into a scientific retreat center 30 years ago. No one goes there anymore, but Gwen sees the same place over and over in her dreams. When they finally reach the place, Gwen suddenly faints. The Listener had sent Caleb's soul into her. Finney is now alone, but he still has the phone. And Gwen's final warning: if he gets into your mind, you'll become the Listener too. The dark night and the fear hidden behind the abandoned church walls were now beginning to reveal themselves. Gwen's warnings were no longer just imagination. They had all become real, and the Listener was now closer than ever. Finney was once again throwing himself into the same darkness from which he had barely escaped 2 years ago. This time to save Caleb and bring Gwen's consciousness back. But the battle now was far more dangerous. The listener was no longer just a physical being. He had become a shadow, a hunter of souls, a trafficker of innocent voices. His goal was not just to kill, but to weaponize the memories of children and destroy the future. When Finney reached the basement of the church, he found himself in a room where hundreds of old, decaying telephones were hanging. Each phone contained a trapped soul, every voice carried pain, and every scream echoed the shadow of the listener. Slowly he moved forward, and in one corner he saw the same mask Gwen had described in her dreams. A strange mask, half human, half beast. And then the listener appeared in front of him, tall, thin, dressed in a white coat, with madness in his eyes that surpassed human limits. His voice was soft but hypnotic. "The fear inside you gives me power. You're no longer just a witness. You are now a part of it." And with that, Finney's true test began. The listener began to play with Finney's mind, showing him illusions, the old basement, the faces of dead children, the screams of his father, Gwen's lifeless body. But Finney was no longer weak. He knew that only the souls could defeat the listener, and to do that, he had to bring them all together. The phones began ringing one by one. Bruce, Griffin, Billy, Vance. Now Caleb's soul spoke through the phone too. Gwen slowly regained consciousness, and her dream became a doorway, an entry into the listener's mind. Gwen mentally enters the listener's consciousness, where she sees a small child, trembling but innocent. The listener's younger self, a child named Malcolm, who had been raised as a subject of experiments by his own father in a laboratory. Gwen realizes that the listener wasn't born a monster. He was shaped by pain, but now that pain had become a demon, so powerful that it forces Gwen to fight her own memories. He shows her the moment of her mother's death, the scream she once heard, and says, "I live through your dreams." But Gwen stands her ground and replies, "If you live through my dreams, then you'll die through my will." Meanwhile, Finney unites the souls of all the children. They do not show the listener their strength. They show him their wounds. And for a moment, the listener trembles, but he doesn't give up easily. He threatens to burn down the entire church. "If I go down, everything will turn to ash with me." But at that moment, Gwen mentally grabs the mask, and the listener's true identity is revealed. A sad, broken human being who secretly wishes to be freed as well. In the end, Finney and Gwen defeat the listener, not physically, but mentally. They trap him within his own memories, and the phones fall silent forever. The souls of the children are freed. Caleb's soul returns to his body, and every door inside the church slowly begins to open. Finney returns to school, but he's no longer the boy who was once locked in Grabber's cage. He's now a guardian of souls. Gwen's powers have also become more stable. They both know this isn't the end. Perhaps a new chapter is beginning somewhere. And now that the story is complete, let's take a look at some important cinematic facts related to the film. The Black Phone 2 is one of the most anticipated horror films of 2025. Its official release date is October 17th, 2025, right before Halloween. The film is directed by Scott Derrickson, who also directed the first installment. This time, the story takes things to a new level, with psychological horror, a deeper backstory, and intense mental torment. The estimated budget of the film is $30 million, significantly higher than the first part. The reason? A much grander vision. Star cast: Mason Thames returns as Finney. Madeline McGraw reprises her role as Gwen. Joining them are Jeremy Davies and a mysterious cameo from Ethan Hawke, which has fans extremely excited. Box office prediction: trade experts believe that The Black Phone 2 could earn between $150 million to $200 million in the US, and globally its total box office could reach up to $400 million. The Black Phone 2 won't just scare you, it will disturb you psychologically. With the legacy of the grabber, the torment of the listener, and the sibling duo of Gwen and Finney, this film is poised to become the most terrifying film of 2025. And friends, if you want more such updates, film theories, and horror movie explanations, don't forget to subscribe to the Cinema Update channel.